What's going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of Knicks Latest. I am Josh Rodriguez. Today we're going to be going over a few off-season, last-minute acquisitions that the Knicks could possibly do. New era. Mike Brown is officially the coach of the New York Knicks. Let's get right into it. Don't want to be too redundant from yesterday's content, but also wanted to congratulate Mike. Wanted to reiterate what I was going to say just in case you missed yesterday's episode. I thought the press conference went well. I think these types of press conferences are almost impossible not to go well. It's almost like a first date. You're going to present the best version of yourself. You're going to say all the right things. You're not going to be too controversial. You're going to say the right things about their best player, all the players on the team. You're going to hype up. You're going to make it out to be the best things in the world. That's what Mike Brown did. But a few things that he did mention, like I said yesterday, was he wanted the Knicks to play fast, up-tempo, and that is exactly what I wanted to hear as a Knicks fan, because to me, I felt like what Tibbs was lacking was tempo, was ball movement, was off-the-ball movement, was pick and rolls with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and it seems like Mike Brown has that drilled into his head right now. It seems like that's the type of offense he wants to run, which makes me very happy. He's also been somebody who's been pretty adaptable throughout his career, being a very defensive coach in Cleveland, was known to be the defensive coordinator in Golden State. Then he goes to Sacramento, and they play this up-tempo type of style that unlocks Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. They make the playoffs for the first time in Lord knows how long. So to me, Mike Brown, out of all the coaches the Knicks could have hired, definitely the best option. It beats going around trying to steal the girlfriends of other teams. Makes no sense. Why are we asking other teams if they would let their coach be our coach? I'm glad that this is what happened, right? We didn't want a reverse Pat Riley situation. That just feels dirty, right? We got our own guy. Mike Brown, welcome to the squad. Looking forward to, in my mind, the most anticipated season in Knicks history. Now, Michael Zeno of SB Nation's Posting and Toasting came out with an interesting article because the Knicks ended up signing Gershon Yabusele to less money than initially reported, which means they do have an open roster spot and more money to give out on the vet minimum or around the vet minimum for another player. And that's led to speculation to who that could be. Yesterday I was talking about Marcus Smart, and Michael, along with other people, have speculated a few players, one being Gary Payton Jr. Gary Payton Jr. was a key piece in the latest Golden State Warriors title run. He's somebody who's known as a very pesky defensive type player, very similar to Deuce McBride, where he's undersized, but he can get into you. Good on the ball defender, good off the ball, gets a lot of steals. Somebody Mike Brown is very familiar with coaching. Now, do I see them going after Gary Payton Jr.? I'm not sure. Right now, if you look at the depth in the backcourt, you have Deuce McBride, who's definitely going to get minutes, possibly the sixth man. Some might say he should start over Josh Hart just to balance out the court. That's another discussion for another day. But you got Deuce McBride, you got Jordan Clarkson. Where would Gary Payton fit into that? Along with Tyler Klolik, we don't know what's going on there. Is he somebody who's going to get playing time? You know, he's a fantastic passer, fantastic playmaker in college. You saw flashes of that last year when the Knicks were down players and he got some minutes. So as much as I think Gary Payton could help his team, as good as a fit I think he is, I'm not sure there's room for him. I'm not sure you bring him in and play him over a player like Deuce, a player like Jordan Clarkson, because that's who he's going to have to play over. I just don't see that happening. You know, to me, the Knicks need more of shooting guard, small forward depth, somebody who can interchange between him and Clarkson, someone bigger, and that's where Alec Burks comes into play. Somebody who's had 2 go-arounds with the New York Knicks already. A huge soft spot in my heart for Alec, as he was somebody who was a huge part of this turnaround under Tom Thibodeau. When Thibodeau first came here, he was a part of that team that went to the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks, played a huge role there, came back to the Knicks when he was on the Pistons in the Quentin Grimes trade. When he got playing time in the playoffs, he showed up, he showed out, he played well, even though he had a rough regular season with the Knicks. I know he's a little older now, but we're just talking about somebody who can come off the bench and hit some threes for about 10 minutes a game. We're not asking him to start. We're not asking him to carry an offense. We're not even asking him to carry the second unit. I think that's going to be Jordan Clarkson's job to score the basketball there. Again, he's somebody who can spread the floor. Defensively, not as good as he used to be, but somebody who can hold his own. He is somebody who I think the Knicks could be looking at as well. That would excite me. Huge Alec Burks fans. He's somebody who, again, going back to his first stint here as a New York Knick, I think he's a large contributor to why the Knicks are where they are. Now, that's going to do it for today's episode. There are a lot more players to talk about. The Knicks, have one more roster spot to fill. Who that player is going to be, we don't know. Summer League is starting this weekend, so maybe it's a rookie that's going to come surprise us. A lot of hype around Dink Pate. I'm looking forward to seeing him play hoops. But who knows? But what you see right now is pretty much what you're going to get. I think the rotation right now is pretty set. I think there's maybe a question mark around Huck Porty, whether or not he gets minutes as the backup. Maybe they sign somebody like a Thomas Bryant on a vet minimum if Mike Brown is not comfortable with Huck Porty. But I believe in Huck Porty personally. So just a lot of questions, but the questions are kind of like fill-ins. They're kind of like on the margins, which is important though. But we pretty much know what the 2025-2026 New York Knicks team is going to look like to at least start the season. Now comes Summer League. Do we have any diamonds in the rough? Looking forward to that. Listen, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you headlines, rumors every day. Whenever I read something on the internet about players possibly linked to the New York Knicks, I'm going to give you my opinion on that. Again, right now, we're not looking at huge trades. We're looking at players who could make that roster spot as the last piece of the rotation or the first emergency piece off the bench. That's what we're at as New York Knicks fans, and that's a beautiful thing. We're not questioning our core. We're not questioning, is this person going to be around? I know there are a lot of trade rumors right now, but they have simmered down, and until they pick back up, we won't talk about it. All right, everybody, make sure you subscribe, like the video, drop in the comments who you think that final player should be. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.